Yo! It's Christmas time, and I've been wanting to make this video for a long time about a certain game called Nights into Dreams, or should I say Christmas Nights into Dreams, on Sega Saturn. The original game was called Nights into Dreams. It came out in 1996 when Super Mario 64 and Crash Bandicoot were the games that were coming out on the other systems, so these were supposed to be like the flagship games on the systems at the time, like the hot holiday platformers from these systems, I guess. Although Nights wasn't really a platformer, it was more of like a flying game, which I had to demonstrate visually, otherwise you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, where you'd have to fly through a bunch of loops and collect a bunch of items and hit a bunch of things in succession, like to build momentum and stuff like that, so it was almost like a racing game. And the real fun part of the game for me was after the main level, when you'd fight one of the bosses, because that was really the only part of the game that had a lot of like fighting and like, you know, action going on. The main level was mostly flying. That was my main gripe, I guess, with the game, that there wasn't a lot of actual enemies encountered during the game like in a Sonic game or something like that. It was more mellow, which is not a bad thing. But anyway, around Christmas time, I guess, Sega had released a new version of the game called Christmas Nights, and it was pretty damn festive, as you can imagine, and I think it was the first game I ever bought from Japan with my own money. I remember going on eBay and asking the seller, is this a full game? Because the US version of the game was pretty rare, because you could only get it in like a certain magazine was giving away demos, because that was really what it was. It was kind of like a demo. It wasn't really like a full game. It was like almost like a mini version of Nights with a bunch of special things in it, because there were only 2 levels in the game, but there was all this extra stuff. And it kind of led to a trend of me preferring the Japanese version of games and buying a lot of Japanese games. Not that there's anything particularly different about the Japanese version of this one, but there were many cases. Like Fighting Vipers on the Sega Saturn has Pepsi Man in the Japanese version. In the US version they don't have that, probably because of trademarks and whatnot. Same thing going on in Mario Kart 64. You got the parody logos of all these different companies on the racetracks. You don't have that in the US version. They replaced them, so they're not funny anymore, but I guess that's a trademark thing too. In the Japanese version of Blue Stinger on Dreamcast, you have shittier camera angles. Wait a minute. But anyway, the cool thing about Christmas Nights, even though it only has 2 levels, or not even 2 levels, you got your one main level and your one boss level, so that's not even 2. But you can make it interesting by going into the Saturn's internal clock and changing the day of the year, and that will change the level, which I've never heard of anything like that. It would change the level, so if it wasn't wintertime, then in the level it would be, you know, grassy like it is in the original game, and then if it is wintertime, in the level it'll be all snowy and stuff. And then on Christmas Day, it turns into a big Christmas party with Christmas music and all this other stuff to make it festive. But my favorite was if you set it to April Fool's Day, instead of playing as Knights, you'd be playing as his nemesis Riala, which, although not his. Knights, I don't think, has a gender. I think he's pansexual, as George Takei would say. But really what makes you want to play the game and keep playing it is that you have all these things you can unlock. Every time you beat the one level that the game has, you get to unlock a new special thing, which a new Christmas present, as they call it. All these cool little secret things. And the most notable thing, I think anybody would agree, is being able to play as Sonic the Hedgehog, which the whole game changes. You get to run around at super fast speed on the ground collecting things until you get to the boss fight, Dr. Robotnik, which he's actually supposed to replace Puffy, the character Puffy in the original game, which, if you ask me, Puffy is a lot scarier than him. She scared the crap out of me. Like, aside from just her being scary, like, when you're fighting her, you're in one hallway, one creepy hallway after another, and then you see the dining room with all the food and the staircase, the creepy staircase leading up to who knows what, or who lives up there. I don't know what kind of life she has or what's going on where she lives. And nowadays you have your remastered versions of Nights on PlayStation and Xbox, and it has a lot of this Christmas stuff in it. They included that in. but they did not include Sonic the Hedgehog. So if you want Sonic the Hedgehog, you're gonna have to get the OG Sega Saturn version right here, but not this one right here, because it's mine. Other than that, most of what you're unlocking in the game, though, is artwork, pretty cool artwork actually, of various characters and locations from the original game and the Christmas game. But the thing that intrigued me the most was when I unlocked what appeared to be images of merchandise, Nights into Dreams merchandise, I guess official merchandise. And I seriously doubt any of that was made here in the US, but it looked pretty cool. And I tried looking some of it up, and the official stuff, I think it's official, goes for a lot of money. Because I guess it's rare. That's the only thing I can surmise, is that it's rare stuff. So if I ever were to hit the lottery, I'd think I'd want to get it and put it in that display case right there, as much of it as I could find. And then when someone comes over and asks me how much I paid for it, they can laugh at me and shake their head at me. Either that or punch me in the face and run out into the street holding dolls in their hand. And that's pretty much all I got to say about Christmas Nights. So I hope you found this video interesting. And I know the Nights franchise has kind of a cult following, so I hope some of that cult finds its way to this video. But stay frosty, and
Merry Christmas.